Good morning and welcome to our live talk program. This is Lloyd Grubb here, your host on Revive Reform Radio, doing our live talk program covering motivation and this your Monday morning rise and shine. And this morning here, we're looking at a topic: what to do when you're already messed up. What to do when you are already messed up, or you've already messed up in your plans, your promises, your resolutions, what to do when you're already messed up. So this is what we're looking at here this morning as we do our live talk program covering motivation and this your Monday morning rise and shine. So welcome again and thanks for dropping by with me here this morning. Let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, thank you again for the blessings of your word, and we thank you again for the blessings of the truths that you give to us and the encouragement you give to us. I pray that you may bless us, dear Lord, as we study and look at these things. And I thank you again for all things for Christ's sake. Amen. So here we're looking at this topic: what to do when you already messed up. So what to do when you have made a promise, made a pledge, you've committed yourself to try harder, do harder, accomplish something. It could be even a task. It have to be something that is per se connected to character development. But what to do when the project is going bad, but you want to accomplish the project? And often we can get discouraged and throw our hands up in the air and want to walk away, or want to give up, or want to just continue in the mess. But what to do to push ourselves in the right direction that we had already committed to or wanted to? So this is what I want to look at here with you this morning, and I want to give you some encouragement along this way. So one of the issues here is that if I'm committed to do something and to do a task, and as I'm committed to do the task, I started going forward to do the task, and now I've tripped up. Something happened. I was working on a project and I left it outside to dry, not knowing that there was going to be a cloud coming over. It was supposed to be a dry day, but a cloud come over and wet the project up and mess it up. And now I have to go redo probably 2-3 days worth of work. What to do when something go wrong? And so one of the things to do is basically just to pick up and keep going forward, and stop while you're ahead. In other words, just go ahead and instead of getting mad and probably destroy the project, just go ahead and see if you can build on it. And this is difficult because sometimes in life, when things start to go wrong, you need to just quit, start all over, or abandon ship, so to speak. But in it, how do you make that differentiation is always going to be up to the project or up to the situation. There's always signs that some projects are worth pushing forward. And a lot of what we're dealing with, especially when we talk about making promises, New Year's resolution, most of this we're talking about is trying to do better, trying to improve our health, improve our mental capacity, improve or increase our mental capacity, improve our energy, improve the way we work, our work ethic, our work ability, physically, mentally. There's something for our own benefit that we're trying to do. So ultimately, it's for our benefit, so we have to stick in there. And so one thing is important is that if you started on the right path, and as you start on the right path, you did something to mess it up. Normally the person could say, I'm trying to exercise. And exercise, I guess, is an easy one to talk about. I'm trying to exercise, and I just, for the last 2-3 days, I just basically ruined or wasted all the exercise I did for the last so many days. What to do? And simply one of the things to do, or the main thing to do, I'm communicating to you here today, is to stop going in the wrong direction and to avoid compounding the problem, is to pull back in the opposite direction. And so you already got in the wrong direction, and whatever you do is going into just the wrong direction. Say, you say, I'm mad this year, I'm gonna exercise all year long, and then you start the year and probably exercise for a day or two and then stop. And now there's days have passed and you have not exercised, and you're already going in the wrong direction. What to do is to basically stop and pull in the opposite direction. Just say, well, I messed up here, and just let's move in the right direction. So that's important, and that's basically the concept here. So There's a saying which is normally, let's say, it's an idiom, right? So this concept here that the words in the phrase does not exactly communicate what is being communicated or what it needs to be communicated, but you can pull an idea here. So there's a idiom that they have that says quit while one's ahead. Now it's kind of the opposite to what I'm talking about this morning, because when you quit while you're ahead is that you're already doing something good, and any more improvement might mess it up. And the opposite is that you're already moving in the wrong direction, and any more activity will mess you up even more. You already messed up. While quit while you're ahead is basically you're moving in the right direction, but there's a certain point where you get it right. Keep it right there. You know, as I said, don't fix anything that's not broken. So if you're fixing something and it's fixed, one more nail might ruin it. And I'm sure you've been there and done that, where you're working on something and you got it right and you say, well, let's tweak it one more time. And you tweak it another time and like, no, you ruined it. So there's a certain point where you still have to quit, but quit where or stop the process when you're ahead. But in the flip of it, you're not ahead. You just actually did something to mess yourself up. And so this idiom implies that further action runs the risk of spoiling something. And it's true. You put in salt in a pot, and now it's salted to perfection. If you put even a teaspoon more, it's gonna mess it up. So that's when you stop. You've got it right. So in life, I put that in there because in life I realize that there's situations where you need to stop, because any further action gonna mess stuff up. And so you gotta know that if you're doing something in the right direction, sometimes you gotta stop and say, I got it right. This is perfect right here. Stop. But also the flip of that is that another idiom that they normally have in life is make matters worse. You can make things worse. Now things are bad and you can make it worse. And so when we talk about trying to fulfill promises, more appropriately, we want to avoid making matters worse. We want to stop again. So stopping becomes important when we're messing up, even more so that we get things perfect. Because if you get it perfect and you're messing up, well, you're going to feel bad. But at least you know, okay, I know what to do to get it right again. And if that makes sense, you know what the secret sauce is. And you know, okay, next time I don't add that extra teaspoon of salt. And it will make it perfect. So you're going to make something and it doesn't taste right because you went too much. But you know, okay, next time this going to be a hit. But when you're messing up, you never want to add to your position. You want to stop right here. And this is a matter of self-control. And normally you mess up is normally an evidence that you don't have self-control. And that lack of self-control or that loss of self-control in that moment can make you feel like, well, it's already all messed up, so what's the point? Well, you don't want to make matters worse. So if you already messed up, one of the thinking that you always have to start getting in your mind and start to think is that I need to stop. All right? Because you already have a situation that's already bad or unpleasant, or you have a difficult situation. And you don't want to make a difficult situation even more so difficult because you're already in a difficult spot. And so that's so often the most terrible thing, because often when we're in a difficult spot, we dig deeper. You know, they say the person dig in and the person put their foot in the mouth and then they put a second foot in the mouth. Those are other phrases people use. You know, somebody says something that's very offensive, and then we normally go and say something even more offensive because we already done messed up anyhow, so might as well just keep it going. Instead of saying, you know what, Ben, I better stop right here. I just done messed up. So that's normally the best thing to do. Notice in Proverbs chapter 24, verse 15 and 16. Proverbs 24, verse 15 and 16. Our focal point here is verse 16. But I'll read for context verse 15. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again. But the wicked shall fall into mischief. That's it, done. one time. So the Bible takes this idea that a just man fall 7 times and rises up again. Now, then the just man should fall the 8th time, but anyhow, the just man falls 7 times and rise up again. So that's important. It doesn't in life we got to know as Christians and anybody. It's just the reality. You'll fall, you'll trip up, you'll make mistakes. The Bible says a just man falls 7 times. As a matter of fact, you think about a person, when you think about a just man, you could think probably mostly about Abraham. And yet Abraham, to get to the place where he needed to get to become probably the most famous human being ever walked the face of the planet, probably outside of Jesus, he had to fall multiple times. Multiple times. But yet, we look at somebody like him and we say, well, that's tough for him. But I like to be a just person. I like to be an overcomer. But I don't like that falling. Because some of those fallings are quite embarrassing. Though some of those fallings are like, what were you thinking? And I'm sure you've been there where you said it to yourself. What were you thinking? Like you have a bad situation and you did something that you think you were doing to make the situation better. But what you just did, you did something that made the situation worse. And what you do after that, you just got to get up and go. But you don't sit there and don't get up because the wicked fall into mischief and full stop. The Bible doesn't say nothing else. The Bible doesn't say what happened. You just say fall into mischief. The takeaway point is he doesn't get up. But to me, what Christianity does, it teaches us to get up. Why? Because there's forgiveness, there's repentance, there's hope, there's still a call to be an overcomer. So I know I can go to the throne of grace and ask God for forgiveness. And I get up. I don't sit there and wallow in my failings and say, I failed, I understand. I'm a sinner now. The person who is doesn't believe in Christ and believe in redemption, doesn't believe in forgiveness and confession. For them, they also often can't forgive themselves for failing. And they take failure very hard on the chin. But the Christian knows that, we're sinners. So that doesn't excuse it, that just put it in context. That we're susceptible to evil, we're susceptible to discouragement, we're susceptible to false concepts and false ideas. And so, although we're supposed to take sin seriously, we don't be so hard on ourselves and others because we understand human beings will fail. If anything will fail, human beings will fail. I mean, machine will fail and other things fail, but human beings will fail. God won't fail, but we will fail. And when we fail, we understand, and at least I'm saying here to you, get up, get going. Don't sit there and wallow in that mud. Don't be hard to yourself. Don't dig yourself deeper. Get up. It's better to get up and then fall again. And get up again and then fall again and do that. And then by God's grace at the 7th time, you get up and you stay up. But to get hit down, as I say, fall into mischief and stay down, you don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You want to get up. Because in getting up, all you're doing is building some muscles. Again, the only way to build muscle is by to exercise it. And so when you fall the first time, hey, look, I put too much salt in the pot. And then the second time you realize, well, possibly 1 teaspoon was not what I need to cut. And I've done that. You say, okay, I know what it is. And for this size pot, I need 3 tablespoons. I did 3 tablespoons and an extra teaspoon because when I tasted it, it didn't taste salty enough. And then next time I do 3 tablespoons, and somebody said, Lord, you sure you got it right? And I said, I'm sure. And I tasted it was perfection. The next day now I eat the food. I said, or when I'm finally ready to eat the food, I eat it and say, after about the 3rd tablespoon, I say, man, this food is kind of salty. So somebody said, well, I thought you said you got it to perfection. I thought so. But I'm a human being. there's variables that I don't consider. I'm gonna tell you, like in cooking, what I've learned. You will taste it and it's perfect, but that was only one taste. What happened? The first taste, you still have a lot. Your mouth is not, salty. It's very, clean. The palate is clear, and so the salt seemed perfect. But after 2, 3, 4 tablespoons, your mouth now you realize, oh man, there's too much salt. I needed to cut the salt more so that it works well. That's just something, a little tip in there for you in cooking that I've learned. And it's always better to undersalt than to oversalt. So that's what it is. So you realize at time that you thought, okay, the next time I'm gonna ace it, and there was a variable that you still didn't figure out, and you try and you fail. And I've learned in so many things in life not to be so hard on myself, because there's often variables that I can't imagine. I've had situation. I remember a few years ago I was preaching a sermon. I was supposed to preach a sermon, and the sermon before I preached it, I thought this is gonna be one of my best messages I've ever preached. The thought, the concept was so powerful in my mind, and I had it on paper. The thing was powerful in my mind that I was like blown away by, impressed, real impressed by the sermon, and I still remember to this day. And I went to preach the sermon, and I don't know what happened. I had a hard time communicating the concept. It was so lucid, it was so great in my mind, but vocally I couldn't. I just didn't communicate it, and I felt so bad, And I always said to myself, one day I'm gonna preach it again. I'm giving it years, but I felt so bad. I was like defeated, because I felt, wow. It was I guess I was just too excited, and I just messed up. And then at the end of the sermon, somebody came to me, actually told me that, basically, like, almost like a sermon was garbage. And I was like, I can't believe somebody would do that to me at that experience. But they didn't know what I was going through, and they didn't know how impressed I was with the sermon. And I thought, yeah, whatever. and just but guess what happened? That would make you fall. But if you take that too seriously, and you take the person too seriously, almost like the devil sent the person just to basically discourage me more, you will just get hit down and stay down. But I've learned that that's how it goes. That you'll mess up, and then someone will come and go, na 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 na. You just messed up, to make you like to rub it in, and then you gotta know that's how life is. You gotta toughen up a little bit. And that was my takeaway. My takeaway is almost like the Lord prepped me for it. He primed me. He gave me a concept, and I was like, man, I never seen this. I never heard anybody preach this. This is a beautiful concept. This is gonna be great. And then, not only did, I don't know if the Lord just let me go on that one and say you're on your own, and then somebody come and tell me that, say you messed up. And then I felt, and I was like, hey, look, let me read the text for you again. Here's the concept. For the just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. Right? And I just keep moving. It's going to be a better day. And that's how you have to look at it in life. You can have everything set up, everything is perfect, and then an earthquake can happen and shake everything off the shelf and break all your mason jars. And all your setup is gone wasted. And that was your setup that's gonna get you in the right health, and all your teas and your formulas were already ready, set up. Someone's in the fridge, and you just lose a whole bunch of your work. And you think, what am I gonna do? And the Bible says, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna just start over again, and you're gonna you have life, you get up again, you keep going. Because things doesn't work the way they're supposed to work. You could have a plan, and the plan is perfect. I'm going to do this in life. I'm going to do that in life. And all these things I'm going to do in life. And life says, no, you're not going to do none of that. Or it says, you're going to do it, but you can't imagine the amount of resistance and fight that it's going to take for you to get it done. And you be like, no way. And life says, yes way. You're not going to get it that easy. So you got to know, each time you fall, just get up. The person don't believe in God. They just go and kill themselves. because they can't take the failure. They can't take the resistance. And that's a question many times I ask myself, and I look at life, why life can be, everything is so much struggle. Just sometimes to get up and just get going is a struggle. Other days it's easy. Some days it's just difficult because that's life. And I've learned, just keep pushing ahead. As sinners, we will often fail after trying to keep our promises and get discouraged at failed attempts. So often this will happen. You will fail, you'll promise, you'll make a swear, you pray to God and say, God, I'm going to do this. You'll tell God, God, if you give me this one opportunity, I'm going to get it right. And you still fail. Because things are a little bit more complex. That's the other thing I've learned. That things are a little bit more complex. Often when you make plans, you don't contemplate all the variables. And things are not going to go the way you think. Because sometimes we can be very simplistic in our plans or just short-sighted because we just don't know. And even when we plan, it's still in God's hand because we don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what the weather is going to do. We don't know what other people are going to do. There's all these variables. So we plan and we still press forward. But we got to know and we got to not be shocked when we're trying to keep our promises and things fail and we get discouraged. And we make an attempt and it fails. We got to know. As a matter of fact, you know, I've learned over the years to build in the attempt, to give myself cushion, to cut my schedule. You know, that's one of the things I've learned is not to have my plans so tight. So if I say I could get something done in 6 months, I've learned to say a year. Just if I think I can do it in 6 months, I tell myself a year. If I plan something, I call it mission creep. That's the way the world call it. But normally the world call it mission creep. When you have a plan, the plan escalates. So you plan to spend $100, and then by the time you finish the project, you spend $200. And I would say that's a mission creep because the mission keep creeping. Well, what I learned is if you really plan 100, you know, plan to spend 125, 150. It'll work like that. That's just how it is. You just plan it up front. You just plan with a mission creep in mind. Then if you get it done, you get it for 100 or less. Well, praise the Lord. But that's how it should go. So what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do differently in your life? What are you trying to overcome? A bad habit, a sin. You know that's going to take you some attempts. Now, if you listen to me and you say, Lord, I got it already. Praise the Lord for you. Good. But most of the time it don't work like this. I've learned even with health. You could have a health problem and somebody tried to overcome it and they do it real quick, first time. And you're trying there, you're just a bumbling mess. You're just not getting it done. And you say, man, why is this so difficult for me? Some things I've realized are difficult and some things are easy. There's things that you can overcome real fast and it goes away. Other things, man, it's so difficult. And it's so hard to shake that thing. So some things, you're going to have to do it at one time, you accomplish it. Other things, it might take you multiple tries. But know that that's how it works. Don't be like, as the Bible says, the wicked that just fall and that's it, done. Because they don't know better. You got to know, look at the Bible. The people in the Bible that are looked upon as overcomers, it was multiple tries. Some of them, they get it right the first time. Praise the Lord. We don't know how it's going to be in our situation. We don't know how sometimes a bad habit is entrenched in us and how it's going to be difficult to overcome it. We don't know how our body will work. And as I say, for many people, it's just health. And they want to exercise and eat right. And they just don't know how hard it's going to be for them to get a routine, consistent exercise program. So that's why you're going to have to keep trying. And don't get discouraged the first time you drop off. Fall off the wagon, as they say, or off the horse. Look at this. It says it's important that you don't get shocked or discouraged by your failed attempts. So it is discouraging, but don't be shocked by it. If you try, you fail. Just remember, me too. And everybody is around you, even if they don't seem like it. Often I know there's a problem with the social media age or the modern age. people tend to share their best days. They share their best days. They share when they're feeling and they're looking and they're sounding healthiest. They don't tell you about often the trials and the discouragements that they have to go through, the mental hits. Many times, most of what we're dealing with is mental hits. People will tell you that you're going to fail. People laugh you to scorn. And people tell you that it'll never work. And then you'll try it and feel like it'll never work. Because somebody tell you that something won't work doesn't mean that you're going to do it and it's going to work. Probably not immediately. As a matter of fact, you could be told that something you're going to do will not work. You try it and it fails. And then somebody else do it and they succeed. And you're like, I had that idea before and you didn't get it done. And people discourage you and you got discouraged and you fail. What are you going to do? Go try the next idea. Look at venture capitalist companies. They'll invest probably in 10 companies and 1 or 2 succeed and 8 fail. Those are the rates of failure. The failure is more than the success, but the one success is so massive that it covers for all the other failure. And so it is with life. You might attempt to do something and you will fail miserably. That's okay. Welcome to the club. We all fail at stuff. I look at it that I could do something and there's 100 people that do it and I succeed. It doesn't mean that the 100 people that did it could have succeeded either, and I'm just special. It just means sometimes it's just that's how life is. Things line up, opportunities. There's things that I want to do, but somebody else will do it and succeed, and I won't even try. I just want to, because it's just going to be too difficult for me. I'd have to face real world realities. So learn to shake off and keep trying. You got to shake this off. Often this is what happened where people get so discouraged because they have a lot of discouragements in their life. They have real reason to be discouraged. And we got to learn to shake those things off and just shake it off. And as I say, you'll try stuff and just fail. Try multiple times, even fail. But I've learned that, what it is that when you keep trying and you're failing, one thing you have to do is know that other people are trying. And probably go pick up a book from somebody that tried and succeed. Probably there's something you're not doing right. Talk to somebody. Go share your story with somebody. Probably even you share with them, they probably pick up, wait a minute, what you just said? You just say you did that? And there goes your problem. Going back to, I mentioned exercise, since this is a big one this time of the year, because so many people join gyms. Probably you need a trainer. Probably you need to go watch some videos, get some tidbits, some little, tips on what to do to make it easier. Because probably you're trying real hard. And probably somebody need to get by you and say, you're trying too hard. You're going to tear up your muscles. You're going to hurt yourself. This is why experts are there. They're there because they have been through that rigor. Avoid listening to people that are too idealistic and sound too good to be true. Because most of the time, it's too good to be true. In this life, if you really want to be a winner, it's gonna be difficult. You're gonna have some compromises along the way. You're gonna lose some things along the way. It's not gonna be as easy. You're gonna probably have to partner with somebody. Often people do things like investments or businesses. They do it with others because it's hard to motivate yourself when you're by yourself. It's very difficult. It's easier when you're working with somebody because when you feel down, that person can keep the process going and keep you going. In John chapter and things never work smoothly in this life of sin. There's always hiccups. You ever had a hiccup? Yeah. But it comes at the wrong time. You see, life never worked the way it's supposed to work. Imagine you're in front of an audience and you've been working to get in front of this audience. And the moment you're supposed to get in front of the audience, you have a problem. You have to run to the bathroom because you have diarrhea. That's all life is. Life can be so simplistic and messed up at the same time. You're doing a speech and this is your $1 million speech that you're supposed to do. And you start going, I can't duplicate it properly, but you start having a hiccup. And you're like, man, I can't believe this. I've been waiting for this opportunity and now I'm having a hiccup. Life is like that. You might have an itch. You have an itch in the wrong spot. And you're trying to twist yourself to readjust yourself because you're itching, but you're in front of somebody that you always wanted to talk to. I know you need to scratch yourself. Life is simplistic like that. And so this is why you take life serious, but you don't take life that serious. If you do, then you'll be depressed, and you don't want to be like that. So we do these things, and sometimes, so as I say, sometimes you already fall, you already messed up, and you're not going in the right direction. Hey, as I say, welcome to the club. Things don't work the way it's supposed to work. In John 16, verse 32 and 33, John 16, verse 32 and 33, it said, Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. All right. So this is a word of Jesus Christ. Now, what was going to happen? I just had a hiccup. What was going to happen? What was going to happen in this situation? The disciples, they were about to face with massive embarrassment. They were gonna arrest Christ, right? They were gonna arrest Christ, and as Christ says that ye shall be scattered, right? So the hour cometh, yea, and now is that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and ye shall leave me alone, every man to his own. So imagine Peter was just saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be with you. If they come and get you, I'm gonna be with you." And the moment they came and get Christ, little on later, Peter is denying Christ. No, he was with Christ. He was following Christ. He and John, so you can see the two of them were very prominent. But they were the two main ones. They stayed close to Christ. The others disappeared. John didn't deny Christ, but he was just there in the wings watching. And Peter denied Christ. So here now Christ says, these things I have spoken to you that ye might have peace. In other words, Christ is saying, I told you it was going to happen. So when it's happening, remember I told you? So you're all cool. You're cool with me. Don't feel too bad. I already forgive you for it. I'm cool with you. I know you're going to do this before it's happening. And they probably hear them and say, what is he talking about? And he's like, just be of peace. It's okay. When it happened, you'll see what I was saying. And then I'm saying this to you, so when it happened, you don't feel so bad. It's the same thing I'm saying to you here. When you trip up, don't feel so bad. You'll be the first. And whatever trip up you've done, others have done worse. If you've ever betrayed somebody, just think about it. Peter did it, and Peter survived. Now Judas did it, but Judas was like a worldly person. He just fall and crash and kill himself. We don't want to be like that. We want to know that it's not that we are excusing sin, but we understand that, besides our best intentions, that we do say things out of line. We do break our promises. We do, sometimes even seem like we deny Christ. And Christ says, don't deny the Spirit. You can deny me and be forgiven, but if you deny the Spirit or you reject the Spirit, you shall not be forgiven. So somebody say, well, why the Spirit? Because it's the Spirit that convicts you of sin and lead you into righteousness and prep you, so to speak, for judgment. So you could say, I deny God. I don't believe there's a God, so to speak. Or I reject God or whatever. And you do that, and that's sin. And Christ says that can be forgiven. How? Because the Spirit will come to you and say, stop it. You know better. But if you reject that, Christ says, how you can't be forgiven, because you can't be brought to forgiveness. It's the Spirit that convicts you of sin and of righteousness and of judgment. And so the Spirit convicts you and say, one day you're going to have to answer for that. And you're like, oh my, I'm sorry. But if you reject that, you're in trouble. Now, this is important because it is keeping that heart open that even when you messed up, when you've made a step in the wrong direction, that your heart is still, you make sure can't make sure, but at least you hear me here that you have your mind susceptible that, look, I can sin, I can mess up, and I have an advocate with the Father. But the Spirit is the one that brings that conviction and says, stop. All we're doing when we come to a point where we learn that we can fall and get up sometimes is simply we're opening up our heart to the fact that, look, I can fail, but don't keep failing. Don't get to a point where you fall and stay down. That means you're not responding to the Spirit call to get up. Because the Spirit is going to get up. It's like I always think about the story of Samuel. I think it is Samuel, yeah, and the prophet and the priest and David and Saul. The story of David and Saul and Samuel. When Saul basically had cut off himself, Samuel realized, man, he's gone. He's not listening to the Spirit anymore. He fall this time, but he was not getting up, if you understand what I'm saying here. And David was, the Lord came to Samuel and said, up. He didn't even say get up, he says up. I said up. You can look up the word you see to just that's all. Up. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna bring you to a stop mourning. Move on. Go anoint David. I mean, he didn't say David, but he's gonna send him to anoint David. There's somebody else to replace Saul. So the Lord says up. Right? And that's important because see, Saul had stopped receiving any information from the Spirit. He had cut off the Spirit. All what he did, as crazy as all he did, just think about all the crazy things that Saul did up until that point. And you think anything he had done before, if you think about it, one could think the Lord would not forgive him. The Lord would have. The forgiveness was still open. And you think, wow, the Lord would forgive for all of that? Yep. The Lord would forgive him. Murder a whole tribe of priests. The Lord would forgive him and save him in the kingdom. If he could just simply get up. But he couldn't get up, so Lord went to somebody and said, you up. You stop mourning over this guy and move on to somebody else. So that's where it is. It's the same concept you take when it comes on to anything in your life personally. Get up. You already fall, get up, man, off the floor. Don't be there wallowing and crying that I fell. Because if you stay there wallowing and crying, you're saying that the Lord can't help you up. And the Bible says you can be forgiven of anything. See, a secular person, they fall, they feel so guilty over it, but they have no hope of forgiveness because they don't believe in that. So they stay down. You got to get up. You can't say, well, oh, but I did such a terrible thing. So what? I mean, not so what, but really so what? You know? Because a lot of time we feel smitten and feel like, hey, I'm so messed up, I'm going to keep going. No, stop. And in that term, I would say stop while you're ahead. Or don't make matters worse. Because what you've done, it might be bad, but in the context of sin, look, stop, man, it's not that bad. How about all these stories where you hear somebody, they will go murder somebody. Then they go on a police chase. Then they start shooting after the police. And then probably even shoot at the police. And you're thinking, man, why are they doing this? They already did something bad. Then they go do something worse. And then next thing they're going to do something worser or more worse. And this is where did it... And then when you start to... Even before we get there, before even that murder, you start to find out they were doing other things that were bad. That were leading up. Sometimes they were getting arrested. Sometimes they were... And they just keep on like... They're criminal. And they became hardened criminal. And then they became sadistic type of criminals. And they just keep getting worse and worse. Instead of saying, I need to stop right here. Right here. I need to get up. And that's what it is. Don't get used to staying down. Because if you get used to staying down, you might permanently and never get back up. That was Saul's story. So we see here, Christ says to the disciples, in the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. No, he didn't say they have overcome the world. He said, be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. They're going to have to fight their own battles. They're going to have to gain their own personal victories. But he's saying, be of good cheer. So it doesn't mean that we take sin lightly, but we got to be of good cheer. It doesn't mean that we don't feel guilty for when we do wrong, but we can't make our failings destroy us. We can't make our bad move make us make worse. Bad move are terrible, more terrible. I don't know how to say it. Bad moves, because it's already a bad move. We can't compound our problems. We have to try to stop the bleed, as they say. You put something on it to stop the bleed, because if we keep bleeding, we might die. We don't want to. So I say, what move have you made wrong? What direction you're going that you just need to stop? You need to pull up. You need to try going in the opposite direction. And if you try and you fail again, get up again. Keep trying. Keep moving it, because every time you move in that, every time you get up, as you listen to the voice of the Spirit, and the Spirit is telling you, get up. Get up. And the person said, but I'm tired of getting up. No, just get up. It's okay. You can get some sleep. Next day you wake up, you'll feel more energized. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, it says, and I might say again about that text in John, that is, imagine Peter, for after all that big talk, Peter must have been very shamed and discouraged, right? Because he was the one run this mouth in front of everybody. And he went further than everybody. They run, he dare denied. So when you imagine that, but remember the Christ already told him that you don't understand. It's not just that the devil want you to fail. The devil want to sift you like wheat. He want to destroy you totally. He want to demolish you. And that's what it is. So whatever failing you have that the devil did for you today, he's not done with you. You better wake up and get up real fast, because what the devil wants is not just for you to trip up a little trip up. That's the other problem too. You could trip up a little and you think that's bad. And there's 1,000 examples of others that's the start. And they kept on tripping up and tripping up and tripping up until they're a total mess. You just imagine so many people you've gone around and you see that they're just a total shipwreck. And you realize that took years of development, because they keep falling deeper and deeper and deeper into sin and off until they die. So that's why you get up. And when you get up, that's part of the victory. It doesn't mean that you can't fail again. It just simply means you got up. And you thank the Lord for getting up today. And if you get up today, you can get up tomorrow. Praise the Lord. Now notice in 1 Corinthians 10 verse 13, it says, there hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way of escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So there's no temptation take you that is not common to man. Whatever you're dealing with, others are dealing with. And that's something that I always have to say to myself. It's if I'm dealing with something, others are dealing with it. And they might act as if they're not dealing with it, but they are. And so that doesn't excuse my behavior or excuse my trip-ups. It just make, I'm still a human being. The Bible says we're but dust, we're but grass. So God is merciful to us. So you have to remember that you have to be merciful with yourself, because God is merciful with you. You can't smite yourself so hard. Because remember, one of the main reasons that Christ came, there are multiple reasons why Christ came to save man. But in this context here, other than the fact that there's a bigger fight going on, the fight didn't start on earth. It was in heaven, so we got embroiled in a fight that started in the throne of God. The fact that there's redeemable value to all of us. God created us and we are quite exquisite to him, even with sin in our lives. But another issue with sin is that, remember, Eve was deceived into sin. She didn't sin purposefully. She sinned because she listened to a lie, so to speak. She got tricked up in her head. So that's mercy. So there's times when we trip up, it's deeper. This is why often, if you want to overcome things, many times counseling is needed. That's why people listen to a lot of motivation, because they need something to rewire in their brains, because they're tripping up, not because the flesh is not willing. Sometimes there's something in the body's calling for you to do something. Sometimes the mind is calling for you. Something you want to change your behavior for other reasons, but there's other factors that are affecting you. And so you can only be so hard on yourself, because you have to understand that other people are struggling with the same things you're struggling with. So then it's a problem with humanity. But because everybody having a problem doesn't mean, or a lot of people having a problem doesn't mean you sit there and fail like everybody else. But when you're trying, if you trip up, remember there's a lot of people who are not trying. So just get going. And when you trip, just get up. I'm sure you've been running before you fell. Well, I've run and fell. It can be a beatdown. It can be very hard on the hands when you land, because that's where you're landing on to probably save your face and your chest. And you don't say, I'm never going to run again. You just be a little bit more careful. And when you run in the right shoes. Because there's some shoes that are not good for running. And you will trip based upon just the shoes you have on. So, you start to learn, well, probably my trip didn't happen because I just tripped. I tripped because I was in the wrong shoes. And I've had that happen. I would try to run in a certain type of shoes that is not made for running. It was made for working. And I'm running in a work boot. And I trip. And so what happened? You learn, well, probably I don't need to be running in their work shoes. And that type of stuff happens. So you learn. But you're human being. You're susceptible to mistakes. But you're susceptible to try again. So the Bible says the Lord has made a way of escape. So that way of escape, when you get it, you take it. You don't say, well, I messed up, and you stay there and wallow, because that will be the beginning of depression, because depression is you're in a spiral, you can't break out. And often that's what it is. You mess up, and instead of saying, let's pull up, you get stuck in that spiral, and you're going down. It's just taking a little while as you spin around to go down. What you need to do is, I need to get out of the spiral. I need to get out of the spiral, or to that spinning, so I don't get flushed down the toilet of life. In Exodus chapter 13, verse 17 and 18, Exodus 13, verse 17 and 18, and it came to pass, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that God led them not through the way of the land of the Philistine, although that was near. For God said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war, and they return to Egypt. But God led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. So the reality of life is often when you're in a situation where you trip up, sometimes you have to remind yourself. This is another mental note I've learned over the years. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that you're not necessarily in the hard way. Because we could say, man, this is too difficult. But then you could quickly think of scenarios that could be more difficult than what you're in. And you would have been faced with the same trial, but under a worse circumstance. Because sometimes we could say, man, this is too much. And it might be a lot. It might be a beatdown. But there's worse. And I'll use the word worser here. There's worser. I know that's not a word, but I'm just saying. Right? It could be worser for you. And so you got to sometimes approach life like that. And remind yourself that it could have been worse. So there's challenges that you will face today, this year. And they're bad challenges. But under certain circumstance, it could be worse. There's days I feel pain. I feel a muscle pain, I get a muscle cramp. But I have a balm for it. I have an ointment, and I rub the ointment on, and it takes away the pain. And I think about it and say, I don't like the pain. But it could be worse. I could have been in the pain and don't have an ointment. See, that's just part of life. There's many scenarios that you could put up. That you could say, I had a rough childhood, but there's others that were raped, that were beaten, that were put in trade, slave trade, sex trades. There's people in time past that were literal slaves. And that's not my circumstance. Now, it doesn't mean that my circumstance is not rough, but it just means that it could be worse. And here in Israel, God sent the children of Israel in a path that was not the best, but it could have been worse. And so in my life, I've come to be appreciative, and I encourage you that when you trip up, your trip up could be worse. Sometimes people literally trip and they drop and they fall and they die. You trip and yeah, you probably just cuff up your knees and you're bleeding a little bit. And you say, thank the Lord, it could be worse. Somebody say, why will you thank the Lord? Because it could be worse. I see real quickly with a flash, I've had a situation happen, I'm sure you've had it, where your life flashed before you. And you realize you could be dead. And you're still alive, and you feel yourself inside, wow, I'm still alive, praise the Lord. And so you're alive. So when you're in that situation, as I say, and you trip up, you failed, and you've going against what you've promised not to do, or you're breaking your pledge, you're breaking your resolution, don't keep breaking. Pull up and say, you know what, I could have broke it worse, or at least I'm alive to try again. You try again. You jump back on the horse. As a matter of fact, if the horse throw you off, probably don't ride that horse again. That's probably your cue that you need to go ride a different horse. Probably it's time to sell the horse and buy a new one. Because you're alive. But you say, I must still learn to ride a horse, but just not this one. And you go yourself on another horse. It'll be okay. And so this is what the Lord did. He gave them an easier route. But when we read the stories now of the promised land story, trying to get to the promised land, we're like, wow, man, they had a hard time. So imagine if the Lord had sent them the other way. We don't know what would have happened. They probably would just kill. It would be total mutiny. They'll probably just destroy Moses and Aaron and just go crazy. And so as bad as the situation is, sometimes you look at it and you're like, yeah, it could be worse. And somebody said, no, Lord, but my situation is worse. Yeah, I agree it's worse. But it could be worse. And that's just life. Because, again, if you're hearing me, this is how I look at it. If you're hearing this presentation, it could be your situation could be worse. You're in a better situation. If you're listening to me, you're in a better situation. That's just how I look at it. Somebody said, but I'm listening to you in a bad situation. Well, you're listening to me. That's your step in the right direction. Because some people, their situation are worse, are just like yours, but they're not listening to me. They're crying right now, wallowing in their sins, thinking they're trapped. They're probably in a relationship, they're in a job, they're in something, and they have no hope, but all they're thinking about, I want to kill myself. You're listening to me, at least you're hearing, no, there's a better day tomorrow. You can get out. You can break this curse. You can win this battle. You can move forward. Many people, they don't get that, so they get discouraged and they get suicidal. They can't get out of bed. If you listen to me, at least you're out of bed. We're moving in the right direction. We're going to get this happen. We're going to make it happen. And that's what it is, because we're going to fight back. Somebody said, well, what if I was a slave listening? If you listen to me as a slave, I'm telling you, you need to break out. You need to be free. Fight. Run away. Do something. Contact me. Contact us. We're going to help you out. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. You see, so you got to look at your situation as sometimes is, to me, what made it better for me in my life is the word. Just hearing these words, it set the captive free. And so if you listen to me, if you're failing and you tripped up or you did something wrong, know that God knows. God knows we bought grass, we bought dirt. We come from dirt and we're going back to dirt. In the meantime, God says, I can make you like gold. So let's make the goal happen. In Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 5, Jeremiah 12, verse 5, if thou hast run with the footmen, and they have wearied thee, then how canst thou contend with horses? And if in the land of peace wherein thou trustest, they wearied thee, then how wilt thou do in the swelling of the Jordan? So if you're in the land of peace, where things are good, you can go to school if you want to go back to school. You can go join a gym. It's relatively peace. There's problems in our society, but you don't have to go take drugs. There are problems in society, but you don't have to be around depressed people or be depressed. There's problems in society, but you don't have to smoke marijuana. You don't have to go kill nobody. You don't have to go grind and go get no STDs. You have choices. There's freedom, relative freedom. And if you're not doing too good, when the Jordans swell, what will happen? So if you're having struggles with your plan to overcome and to gain the victory over whatever, just remember that you have relative peace. So fight harder. Fight harder. So again, with the first part, if you're running with a footman and you're in battle and the footman is wearying you, you're not doing too well. What happens if you're charged by horses? Are you going to be able to take out your sword and start killing horse and horsemen? So if you're not ready for that fight, be happy for the fight you have. And if you're getting weary with the fight you have, just thank the Lord that at least you have the fight with the footmen. You're not fighting with the horsemen. Because if the horseman is overrunning you, well, think about it. I think about that all the time. Sometimes I want to do certain things, but I realize I need to conquer the battles I have now. And I have right here, because if I don't win with these battles, when the bigger battles come, they're going to overwhelm me. If I'm having a problem with what I have to deal with and it's overwhelming me, I don't be there like, oh yeah, I'm ready for the bigger stuff. No, I need to win these battles here first. And I see people do it all the time. And then they get overwhelmed and they're thinking, what happened? What happened? You were failing and you were not overcoming with this fight and you took on a bigger fight. And what happened? You get blown away even more. So it is you deal with what is in front of you and you win the little battles. I might say this that often why many people fail because they're trying to succeed at something that is way out of reach. That's often they have a promise, a plan, a pledge, a plan that they can't even overcome on the simple thing. How are they going to overcome on the big thing? As I say, if you can't overcome, a simple exercise program, 15 minutes every day, how are you going to do an hour or 2 hours? It's just not going to happen. You're going to tear your body down. You're going to have knee replacement surgery soon. You're going to have to replace your hip soon because your body can't take it. Build up first. Conquer 15 minutes 5 days a week. And when you conquer that, then you go ahead and try half an hour or 20 minutes. And you build up. But many people, they're going to go in there and they're going to become Mr. Fit immediately. And they fail. And they say, why am I failing? Because you can't run with the footmen. How are you going to run? They're wearying you with the footmen. Are you going to go and charge into a bunch of guys on horses? The horse ain't going to see you and get scared. He's going to run over you. You got the first thing, I'm going to take out this horse. But before you get there, take out some footmen. Joshua chapter 21, verse 43. Joshua chapter 21, verse 43. And when all is said and done, remember this. This is a promise. This is a statement of the promises of the Lord. And the Lord gave unto Israel all the land which he sware to give unto their fathers. And they possess it and dwell therein. All the land. So remember, every single promise that God gave to Israel, he kept it. Now, he took them from Egypt to the promised land, but whoa, it wasn't the story that we would expect. It wasn't just 1, 2, 3 and they were in. It was very convoluted, a lot of problems along the way, a lot of problems that they created, but he brought them into the land nonetheless. It wasn't that simple, but he brought them into the land. He brought them in the easier way. But if you ask them, it was terrible. It was, man, we got here, but it wasn't easy. It was so much problems. But think about it, most of the problem was not God. So in all of our trials, all of our tribulation, everything that would be of good cheer, Jesus Christ says. Because guess what happened? We are tripping up ourselves. And we're not listening. Remember, Christ tried to explain this to the disciples, and they wouldn't listen to him, and they made it hard on themselves. So remember, God promises never fail. Often we fail it. And so that's why we have to just keep going, because God will deliver it to us. We just have to keep faithful. Whatever, if it's something that Lord says, I will give you, just remember, Lord will take care of it. But, you just have to be of good courage. And many times when you trip up like Peter trip up, just say, hey, I trip up. God says, he know I was going to trip up. And just keep plugging away. What to do when you're already messed up? Just stop, get up, and try again. That's what you do. Let us pray. Thank you, Lord, again for your blessings and your words. We thank you, dear Lord, for teaching us your ways. I pray, Lord, that you may continue to be our guide in all things, and bless us, dear Lord, that even as we make mistakes, as we make bad decisions, that you may bless us along the way and give us, and that we might listen to the still small voice of thy spirit and get up and get going. Be with us, we pray, for the rest of this day, for Christ's sake. Amen. Thanks for being with me here on Revive Reform Radio. Looking forward to talking to you again live tomorrow morning, where we should talk about the importance of church. Until then, I pray that we may continue to walk with the King.